Welcome back to WEBICLASS language analysis. Hello everybody. 2 lessons ago, you had a task in your Remain Afloat, which was taken from Julius Caesar of William Shakespeare, Act 4, Scene 3. There is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. On such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current when it serves, or lose our ventures. I promised you I was going to give you my own analysis, which I started last week. Today we are moving on to part 2 of my analysis. My analysis today is focused only on diction and sound. So here we go. I've selected these words: tide, flood, voyage, shallows, then the expressions full sea, the word afloat, current, to focus on in analyzing my diction and sound. Now let's look at sound. Flood, fortune. You can hear f, f. This is the sound that introduces flood and fortune. It's a very soft sound. It is euphonic because it's beautiful and soothing. It makes soft music. Full. Fortune, flood, fortune. Now, this is a sound we call a voiceless sound. In language, every sound is either voiced or voiceless. This is how you test whether it is voiceless or not. When I make the sound when I touch my Adam's apple, I feel no tremble. It doesn't move. That means the voice is soundless, meaning my glottis is open. So when the air is coming out, there is no tremor. Voiceless sounds are soft because there is nothing shaking in the throat. The glottis is fully open. So these sounds generally produce very soft and soothing sound. They are euphonic. That is how I see flood and fortune. They are chosen to show that if you flow with the flood which Shakespeare is advising us to do, your life will be smooth. Flow into fortune. Your life will be soft. No problems, no trauma. Now, we look at the sound which follows. If you look at shallows and miseries, I have highlighted the plural, that is at the end of miseries, and this at the end of shallows. They are also soft, voiceless sounds. These are what we call sibilants. They are also soft and voiceless. Again, if you try by putting your fingers in your glottis, your throat, your Adam's apple, you will see that nothing is shaking there. Again, soft sounds. Okay, but then look at the beginning of shallows and miseries. Shallows, soft. Miseries, miseries, that is a voiced sound, because if you make the sound m, there is a tremor in the throat. That means once you get onto the shallows, if you miss your flood, you end up in miseries. Your life becomes an earthquake, shaking. Right. Now it means do not aim for the miseries, aim for the flood, which will take you to fortune. Right. Now, let's look at diction here. The words shallows and miseries, they come in plurals. I talk of this in shallows plural, miseries plural. It means if you do not take the flood, you will end in not one shallow, not one misery, but plurals. So if you take the flood that leads you to fortune, yes, you have no problems. But if you miss a flood and then you end up in miseries, that is plural. Look at the way miseries is spelled. Is the correct spelling, but the plural comes with 3 letters, IES, not one misery, not 2 miseries, but 3 miseries. That is triple punishment, triple suffering because you missed the flood. So these words are chosen to underline the fact, to highlight the fact that if you miss the flood which you lived into fortune, you are going to suffer 3 times. Miseries, IES. The shallows are not only one shallow, but 2 shallows. So in graphic terms, these words shallows and miseries are presented as plurals to show the extent, the intensity of the suffering which we will have if we miss our opportunity. Now, look again at ventures. Ventures is a word which involves boldness, risk, and gains, profit gains which are anticipated. It's like you go on a business trip, you are venturing something. You must be bold, you must be you must take risks, and you must anticipate gains. These are ventures which you will lose. Shakespeare does not choose ventures for nothing. Shakespeare makes us see a comparison between anticipating good things when we venture into something. Now, you can imagine losing these or lose our ventures. So Shakespeare wants us to see business, an image of business in what we do in life. You see, if we have decided to risk, be bold, and anticipate gains, we wouldn't want to lose. So ventures is chosen specifically to give us the idea of what we go through if we lose our chance because we've allowed the flood to flow away. Now I come back to effectiveness. Remember, in the last lesson, I stated that in my explanation, tackling of imagery of the techniques that Shakespeare used, I did not say this is effective because this is effective in that. No. By explaining how the images, how the chosen techniques help me to understand the text better, I drove home somehow that Shakespeare chose to do things in a particular way to make my understanding more. It made me visualize more clearly what Shakespeare was trying to say because of the images that he chose. It made me establish comparisons. Look at ventures, for example. there is here suggests a comparison between a business activity and what these men standing up on the beach are facing. Flat fortune, if you imagine the whole idea of striking while the iron is hot in terms of water imagery, we see more clearly, as I said before, how Shakespeare would like us to see the difference between floating and swimming across to the other shore, or trying to swim across in shallow waters, very still waters that are not assisted by any wave or winds. So this is what we've tried to do today with sound and diction. Part 3 will follow next week when I'll look at something else to conclude my analysis. Thank you very much. As usual, this has been your WEBICLASS teacher, Roger Olympio, saying bye. Bye.
Subscribed. Don't lose out. Join us in WEBICLASS. Share, ask questions, suggest and subscribe.